All right, guys, here we are. Stage 4 Zwift unlocked. Doing the short ride today. Brand new course, Spinfinity. Not much information out there on the web, which is why we're doing something we don't usually do on the channel. This is the pre-ride before the ride. It is 11 o'clock US Central Time. I'm gonna race this against the fastest group of Zwifters at 12:15. So I got an hour and 15 minutes before the race. This is the first chance to learn anything about this course. Not even Zwift Insider had the inside track on the course. So we're gonna learn as we go. My intention is to ride this steady as a warm-up for all of us to kind of see what's going on, and then try to post it same day, which is also new for the channel. Here we go. We are in Manhattan, I believe. Let's bring up some ride stats, just so you guys can see what this ride looks like, how long it takes at whatever my ride stats end up being. Okay. Very interesting how the pens are stacked. You guys can see upper right-hand corner how they're right next to one another. So there's not massive gaps like there are in other pens on other courses. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, guys, let's take in the scenery. The only thing I do know is the Brooklyn Bridge is a KOM. It's like 2 kilometers long. And then there's also like a Manhattan Sprint, I think. Okay. Let's just move along. Traditional New York see-through skyways. Very flat to start. No elevation gain.
Ride on.
Okay. Just cruising, riding the rubber band. And we're on. That, guys, was the lead-in. You will not see any stats till you make it through that lead-in. Nice little left-hand turn, loop around. Here's some elevation. Okay, what does this pitch up to around this corner? 4%. Not massive, but not bad. You want to be ready for that. Shortly after the lap begins. Looks like a few step-ups. After that, a little downhill. People are in the chat talking about the fact they can't see stats, and that's true, not until you start the lap. Okay, a little more elevation, definitely draftable. 3% there, almost 4% here. This is draftable in a pack, guys. For sure. Okay. Once we made it up here, it seems like it's flattened down for a bit. So right after the lap starts, hard left-hand turn, 4% grade, flattens out, and then a few 2 to 3% little risers to get up to the top. Flat through this section here, quickly to 3% downhill. Okay. Just spin the legs. Little 1% grind here. You notice in the upper right-hand corner, the elevation we just hit, which was only 19 total meters, barely registers in that green section. So the elevation profile, top right, barely registers. But now it's flattened downhill for a while. Just moving with the group I'm in. Looks like I was elected leader of it. But here comes Shaw. He's going to do some movement and work. A little more downhill. So guys, once you get over that initial bump, really shouldn't be doing a ton of work if you're in a group. All right, I think I was about 4 watts, close to 4 watts per kilo over the top of that climb. And now, with this group, 3.7, I can get that way lower. And of course, I'm looking at my ride stats, average watts per kilo. I think I'm sort of grouped up here. I got to remember, this is just a warm-up. That competitive side of me keeps coming through. So I got to just chill out. Okay. Good sort of Skyway, Skytram feel, which is pretty continuous through the old roads available in New York. But guys, we are nowhere near Central Park. At least I don't think we are. Have to look at an overhead. Okay. First couple K go pretty quickly. And there's a little work to get the elevation. But since then, it's all been downhill or flat. Okay, another banner here. Coming up on a tight right-hander. So regardless of what category you race in, this section is going to be fast. This section will be very fast. There's the initial climb right after the lead-in. Once you go through that start-finish banner, and then after that, it's just fast. Fast, fast, fast. Okay, what's going on here? Down we go. Wow. That to the right, is that a slingshot? Are those arrows a slingshot on that uphill? That would be wild. That would be wild. I think we're gonna find out. Here we are in the New York City subway. Oh, now I feel I'm at Disneyland on the Star Wars ride. If you're a child of the 80s and 90s, you're with me on that. Probably thinking about Captain EO. Eating popcorn. I'm mixing up entirely two, three, maybe 4 different things. But the OGs are gonna get that. Almost 5K in. Almost 5K in. So we are officially over a quarter of the way done. Okay, we are gonna have to climb back out of here. That is just a reality. Now, what is going on? Is that a good omen or bad omen with the light above? All right. There is going to be elevation soon. Very, very soon.
Right on.
Okay. Okay. Do the arrows help us or not? Did they completely gamify this route? Let's find out. Let's use our featherweight anyway. Okay, now 19%, ladies and gentlemen. But I think that escalator helps. I could be wrong. 19%. What was that? I don't know if we got helped up that hill. We must have. So, you still feel it. You still feel the resistance. But at 19%, we should not have carried that speed. Right? This is wild. This is wild. Zoom indeed.
Right on.
It was hard to tell in the peloton, but I think we got a boost there. I mean, it's 19%. So you gotta just send it and take advantage of the boost, especially if you're racing this. Okay, some more downhill. But as you guys can see, we're gonna find some elevation here. We're gonna find some elevation soon that we're actually gonna have to do some work on. About a third of the way through, coming out of the subway. Here it comes, guys. Here it comes. Now I believe this is likely the climb that starts up to the Brooklyn Bridge. 3%, 4%, 5%. My job is to just stay with this group. Consistent 5%. Okay. Just spinning the legs. Okay. So that was 4 or 5%. Planes back out to 2 to 1. Super draftable right here. Another step up here. This is wild. Ramps up a little. 3%. This is going to be a grind in a race. A grind. Okay, guys. Just know that on-ramp feels like forever before you even get to the bridge part. When we hit the peak, do you think Zwift's gonna make it scenic? Gonna like go out, look all around? 4%. Just slogging through this. Holy moly. Do not mistakenly go early on the bridge. There's the banner. Little push for these guys. Little push. There we go. Now I'm going to recover. Negative 2%. So guys, it is a long haul to that banner. You just got to get set for a grind. Just got to get set for a grind. Okay? 3% downhill, 4%, 5%. So you want to make sure you get through the banner and onto some wheels before it hits 4 or 5%. If you're with the group, it's going to be easy. And if you're not, it is not. Okay. And upon getting out of the bridge, we're almost halfway done. Okie dokie. Let's see, 10K in, 9 to go. Just cruising with this group. So once you're over the bridge, pretty easy. But looks like we're gonna loop down and around and then across another bridge. So here we are. It's gonna ramp up to 4%. Still draftable at this speed. And now we're just slogging through. Oh, this is gonna be such a tough course on a race. Okay. %. Another just long, slogging. Wow. Let's go ahead, use our feather now. You can see the banner out there and yonder. Let's come up on these wheels. Guess we're doing a sprint right now. I think that's what that line was back there. All right. Whatever it was, it did not register on screen. Okay. I think that looks to be the majority of elevation. We're gonna go back down off this side of the bridge. We are going to go into the subway again, it looks like, and then out of the subway. "20 minutes in, at around 3.5 watts a kilo. Just recovering down this hill. This is fast and it's only 2%. If you have some people pushing on the front, it will require work. It's 2% downhill, but it could require some work if anybody on the front just really decides to gun it. But we're not doing any work, and we're holding 53 kilometers an hour on this nice gradual 1% downhill. So this seems like a course where I feel like things get broken up and brought back together and broken up and brought back together, because there are just long grinding climbs and then long gradual descents.
Ride on.
Okay. 13K in, 6 to go. We're 2/3 of the way done as we come off that bridge. Now I believe, what, we turn, maybe we don't turn yet. No, we don't turn back yet. We'll keep going straight. Okay. Group's moving plenty fast. These new roads are cool. Still came off the bridge flat for a very long section. There we go. Now we're back in the underground. That's a good look. Okay. Got some people cheering on the left there and the right. Back into the time portal. Okay, we are going to come back out again. Just went through like a phantom banner up top right. Not sure what that means. It was on the map, but didn't really register on the ride. Long set of tunnels on this one. Less than 5K. Working our way out pretty soon. Man, scenery changes a number of times through this long section. 4K to go. Okay, here we go. Watch the percentage of grade. Let's hit it early and see what happens. Wow. I think it kept the group together. Could be wrong. That's interesting. Not sure how to take that. I definitely sent it, and everybody came out of the top at the same time. Fascinating. Let's find these wheels, carry this speed. Okay, here comes some elevation. Nice 4%. It's not too bad. Less than 3K to go. I feel a lot happens in a short loop. We're not even 17K in. Feels like we've really been on a journey. This climb here feels a lot like rooftop KOM in Neokyo. Just sort of step ups. They're much closer together than the step ups in the Neokyo rooftop, but it still planes out, and you can still carry the speed of the draft. All right. We're coming up on 2K to go. Looks from the elevation profile top right that it's mostly downhill. Mostly. This was a great group to be a part of, keeping me from doing silly maneuvers. They're carrying great speed, making it really easy to just draft along. Okay. Yeah, this is a really interesting lead in. Mostly flat and down. Mostly. All right. K and a half left to go.
Ride on.
Still flat. Here's some downhill. 4%. There's a little wrinkle in things, this downhill finish. %, up, flat. All right, 500 meters. Let's just use our aero boost. Okay. There it is. Stage 4. The short route. 28 minutes at around 3.3 watts per kilo. All right. Ooh, and very quickly, right back into the hill. So if you're ever doing this multi-loop, you should expect after that finish banner, you're immediately getting up and at it. Up and at them. You're gonna get up and at them right away. Okay. Cool. I think it's a very interesting course. We'll have to see how people paint on it in all the races. I mean, right now, I think all of us went into it blind. So it'll be very interesting to see where people decide to go. It seems to me that going out the Brooklyn Bridge is the harder direction, and then coming back is a little easier, but it's still just kind of this grindy 2-3% once you're on both bridges. It's kind of that grindy 2-3% to the top. And a good section of recovery down the backside of each bridge. So, areas that riders like myself can get softened up if I'm not smart about how I do it. Also areas where if people are so very inclined to try to stage a breakaway, that could be the spot. But again, on the backside of these bridges, it's so long on the downhill. You really have to commit on the backside of the bridge to hold off a big, angry peloton. Fascinating about how the start pens are all shrunk together. What a great move. What a great move on Zwift's part, especially for different category mass start. Things like tiny races or trilogy or other races where sometimes there's a mass start but the categories are broken up. What a great way to keep everybody closer together and to solve that problem. I do appreciate that. So there it is, guys. Spinfinity to Spinfinity and beyond. That's what we did just now. That was the ride before the ride. The pre-ride. Just did the pre-ride. I feel good and warmed up now. The only problem is I've got to hang on to that warm-up for the better part of 40 more minutes. So I don't think that's happening. So I'm just gonna keep spinning around the course here. I'll save you from 40 minutes of soft pedaling, but you can expect this video to post first. Hopefully it is advantageous if you have not yet ridden the course. I'll give you a sense of what this course looks like. I just had to ride it. I want to know what I'm getting into, because when I do get to that pen in the next 40 minutes or so, it's against some of the top riders in Zwift. So I'm just going to be happy to be there and hanging on. So hopefully you do find this useful. Guys, I really appreciate you being here, checking in with me and watching this unfold. I hope you have really successful rides and races on this course this week. I am gonna just keep meandering around New York and keep my legs warm until the race starts. So, for now, that's all from me.